Hi y'all, happy Listen First Friday. My name is Stephanie Lepp. I'm a producer and storyteller, and I just launched a new video series that I would love to tell you about and help you use in your efforts to help people listen first. So here we go. The video series is called Faces of X, and it's a series of short videos that integrate different perspectives on divisive social issues like gender, abortion, and race. The format is very simple. I use the Hegelian triad of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, so it's the same person playing all three, steel manning the thesis and antithesis, right? They're wearing different outfits, going back and forth, steel manning, and then synthesis, again, the same person in another outfit, walks in and attempts to integrate their perspectives into what we might call a synthesis perspective. So the format is very simple, but hopefully the synthesis is rich. The series stars cultural influencers who are known as independent thinkers, like Liv Boeree in Faces of Capitalism and Buck Angel in Faces of Gender. But ultimately, Faces of X is not really about the individual issues. It's ultimately about cultivating our capacity to integrate different perspectives and see politics and ultimately reality in a more multi-dimensional way. So Faces of X launched about 2 weeks ago, and it's getting great traction. High-profile mentions include Chris Anderson from TED, Tim Urban, Glenn Loury, and Tristan Harris. So people are clearly hungry for compelling post-tribal content. And that's where you come in. Faces of X is accompanied by a set of educational materials that teach steel manning and integration of different perspectives. And I've been developing partnerships with organizations in our space that can use the series in their educational efforts. For example, All Sides and FAIR, the Foundation Against Intolerance and Racism. And I would love for you and your organization to use Faces of X in whatever way makes sense for you. So here are 3 ideas for how you might use Faces of X just to get your wheels turning. Number 1, online screenings. Perhaps you can host an online screening of Faces of X followed by a discussion about perspective integration. I did that with FAIR, for example, and it went super well, and I would be happy to do that with your organization. Number 2, share Faces of X on your socials, on your blog or newsletter or social media, or let's have a conversation about it on your podcast. I'm happy to draft sample post language or share thumbnails if that's helpful. And finally, number 3, incorporate Faces of X into your educational offerings. Do you work with educators or do you do direct education? At facesofx.org, you will find educational materials such as tools for perspective integration and the methodology for writing the scripts. And just to double click on that one for a sec, you can imagine it being a very rich and challenging educational activity to have people write their own scripts, right, for an issue that they're wrestling with, or redo an existing video if they feel like they can do it better. But zooming back out, Faces of X is ripe for use in an educational context, so please use it for your educational purposes. With that, thank you, Listen First. You can find Faces of X at facesofx.org. You can find me on Twitter at Steph Lepp. And may we transform viewpoint diversity from a source of conflict and confusion to a source of clarity and collaboration.